It's time for Big Fat American News. It is Friday, August 30th. We do this Monday through Friday for now. We're going to expand it to weekends eventually when we actually start making money. You can find all the news that you can use at ZachMartinRocks.com. You can subscribe to our podcast. We got a lot of subjects that we cover at Big Fat American, which is available on radio.com, iHeart, Stitcher, iTunes, and my favorite, Spotify, where you can make your own playlist. Mine is Big Fat American. Check that out. Also, check out Lying Wonders, Strangest Things. It's a podcast series featuring the work of Michael H. Brown. We really get into Lying Wonders, Strangest Things. You can find more information at spiritdaily.com. Looking at the New York Post, I love the headlines of the New York Post and the New York Daily News, and they usually never disappoint. Here we have a picture of Comey on the front page, leaker of the free world. I guess, to give you a synopsis, he was meeting the president, didn't like what he was hearing, and somehow his little notes got passed along to the New York Times. Does that sound familiar? Whatever. I'm just going to keep talking about that one. Now, how far are we going to take it with roller coasters? I was reading somewhere the other day that there's a roller coaster that goes 155 miles per hour. Can you imagine? Here's a new one headed towards Six Flags Great Adventure, New Jersey. Sounds like a hell of a lot of fun, too. Six Flags Great Adventure, next new roller coaster, is dubbed the Jersey Devil. It will be the longest, tallest, and fastest single ride in the world when it opens next summer. The Jackson Theme Park announced this past Thursday. At 3,000 feet long, with an initial ascent of 130 feet, it's high up there, that's 13 stories, the ride will peak at 58 miles per hour, putting riders through multiple thrills, including an 87-degree first drop, which is pretty much 90. I thought they had that Cobra thing. All right. So 87 degrees, a 180-degree spin, and a zero-gravity 360-degree twist. Wow. Come to think of it, as scary as it sounds, I got to try that roller coaster. My favorite is California Screaming. That, by far, is one of my favorite roller coasters to go on. It's a combination of the Cyclone and Coney Island and a few others. But, man, California Screaming, I think they changed the name to go along with the Incredibles at California Adventure, Disneyland. Disneyland is great. And by the way, if you ever get to the Los Angeles area and you're looking for good restaurants, downtown Disney. I'm telling you, forget about it. Steakhouse 55 at the Disneyland Hotel, really good food. Costs you a lot of money, but really good food at Steakhouse 55, downtown Disney. You got to try it. And Disney World's a lot of fun as well. Epcot Center, oh, man, is nothing better. Instead of saving up money and traveling the world, let's say you want to go to Germany, right? You go to Germany and Epcot Center, you pretty much have visited Germany with the beer and the pretzels and the various sausages that you can consume. Same thing for Japan and China. I mean, all you're talking about is eating the food and looking at some artwork that's germane to the Germans or whatever, right? So go to Epcot Center. I'm looking forward to Hollywood Studios at Disney. Why are we talking Disney World when we're supposed to be talking the news? Well, hey, it's helpful, right? To give you an idea. I was on the elevator just the other day. I find this fascinating and how we're all affected by fake news. And fake news is even faster than it's ever been. 2 days ago, 23% of the male workforce in any office throughout the United States participates in fantasy football. The very next day, this morning, on my way up, the worst 30 seconds of my life, surrounded by millennials and Generation Z who don't understand what deodorant is. Horrible, right? It went from 23% to 17%. So what is it? And I've noticed here when we do the fantasy football, I put a lot of effort into it. Oh, I'm participating in the draft. I make sure that I got a great team put together, and I'm always rotating players in and out depending on who's got the bye, depending on who's got the hot hand. You know how that works. And I'm invested for the whole season. You know who always ends up winning the whole season? The person who answers the phone. She doesn't even try, and she wins. Here I am trying. I don't know why. So from now on, I'm just going to say, hey, can you fill this out for me? Because I really would like to win. And if I do win, I'll split it with you. That's the problem with the world. Nobody wants to split. You go out and you sell something. Let's say you're a great salesman. And if you're a salesman, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You sell $1 million of product. And what do you get? Not even 10%. You should get a little bit more. How about 15%? If I ever have a company, which someday I want to, and my company is going to hire special needs people so that they can work from their home. But if I ever have a company and I have a sales guy working for me and he brings me in $20 million, I'm going to say, hey, Hey, Julia, take 20%. Great job. Bravo. Did good. You should, make money off the sales you do. I'm a big sales-friendly kind of guy. I'm looking at some of the headlines right now. Here's one caught my eye in the New York Post. Leaker of the free world. It's got Comey slapped for spilling FBI secrets to the press. I guess the gist of it is like this. He was meeting with President Trump in the early part of the administration. He was still the FBI director. He didn't like what the president had to say. And he told everybody about those meetings with the notes he took and gave them to the press. Oh, nothing is sacred these days. Nothing is sacred. Let's see what else we have here. I found this really interesting. Human-like neural activity detected in lab-grown mini brains. Now, I got to see what these mini brains look like. I wonder if they're gross. So, neural activity in mini brains. Washington, AFP. Scientists reported Thursday they had picked up human-like electrical activity in lab-grown brains for the first time, paving the way to model neurological conditions and answer fundamental questions on how our gray matter develops. It's not clear whether the pea-sized brains are conscious. The team behind the breakthroughs suspect they're not because the activity resembles that of preterm babies, but they cannot say for certain, opening up a new ethical dimension to this area of research, which means that we can finally have robots with human brains, just like you've seen on The Simpsons. And you know what's coming up next. You've heard about the SexBots. Now, the SexBots will be able to think, what do you think? You got to take me out for dinner. You got to wine and dine me. Now the SexBot's going to give you problems. You asked for it. You got it. Follow us at Facebook.com/BigFatAmerica and Twitter at Zach Martin Rocks. You can text or call BFA News. Our newsroom is 626-559-1450. Leave a message and maybe I'll call.